What is happening, you beautiful bastards? Welcome back to another week. This week, you get us.
Well, Chris, I don't know how I got here or what I'm talking about. What's happening?
This week, we go through all sorts of shit. It's negativity. No, we go through all sorts of crap. We discuss a little bit of gun control. We discuss mental health. We get into why Jerry hates everyone. It's fantastic.
As it turns out, Jerry does actually hate a lot more people than he ever thought. So I actually I treated this as a therapy session, and I feel much better for it.
It's true. It's true. I can tell.
What is happening, you beautiful bastards?
I heard some happenings, Chris. You want to know what I found out?
What'd you find out?
It's the internet, so it could be hearsay. In fact, it's very likely to be hearsay. But I did read an article that says that some quote-unquote credible source says that two things happened to Putin. One, Vladimir Putin is struggling with cancer treatments. And two, he recently survived an attempt on his life.
I would believe both those. I thought we had already heard that he was having health issues.
We've heard he's been having health issues for God knows how long, but I don't listen to that shit because, it's the internet. But
you just said you listen to the internet.
I told you it's quote unquote credible. But he does look like shit. And
he does look like shit.
It makes sense, though, that he's probably dealing with cancer. He lives in Russia and he's old.
There was a snippet, and I'll see if I can put it in here, of him dealing with whatever it is, but another political figure in Russia, and they're like whatever meeting they have, the evil minds get together, and the other guy is just doing the regular politician thing where he's saying nothing but everything.
Okay,
where he's just like, here's the topic.
Just talking in complete circles around what they're supposed to. Yeah.
And you could see Putin, who's just like, he's kind of like that grumpy, like grandfather who's just like,
yeah,
the fuck are you saying? just fucking say it already. You're stupid. Get out of here. And you're sitting there, you're like, man, I can't blame him. That would piss me off too.
Yeah. That frustrates me too. And as a dictator, I would just have him killed. So, I don't know why he doesn't.
He might be dead now. I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's pretty plausible because, like I said, he looks like shit. But I was simultaneously surprised and not surprised that there was an assassination attempt.
Where do you think the assassination attempt came from?
I think it was internal, generally speaking.
Well, yeah, I think it would have to be.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. The U.S. does some fucked up shit like that.
That's true, but
and maybe UN affiliated countries outside of the U.S. I don't know, but I think most likely,
think to get close enough to him, you'd have to have someone embedded.
You'd have to be Russian.
You'd have to be in his cabinet.
Yes, I think that's what it was. Someone closer to him. But
I'm saying, like, where were they coming from? What was their motive? Like, hey, it was Poland. Like, you know what I mean?
What was their motive?
No, you know what I mean? Like,
bro's burning down their fucking country. That's the motive.
Do you think it was Ukraine? No, to me,
if it was Ukraine, they would have succeeded.
To me, for him right now, where couldn't it come from? Even China would probably fucking take a bit of that.
Yeah, because as we know all about China's motives now. They don't want Russia to spark a world war. That's for one. It's like I would call it kind of a myth that war is good for business. It has like immediate benefits, but
it's
long term
business. It's not good for
immediate. Long-term benefits, not so good. So if you're a business struggling and you go to war, boom, you got money. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the war's over, you're right back to where you started. It's not actually good for business.
Yeah, but like everyone's in a fucking recession right now. That could be enough to carry them through.
No. But we're 9 months in, though, to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I don't mean we as in the collective communist we. I mean Russia.
You mean we as in the world.
Yeah. But 9 months in, they keep trying to kill their president, keep missing. That
Zelensky?
Yeah, Zelensky. The steel mill's still standing.
Yeah, but they surrendered the steel mill.
It doesn't matter. It's still standing.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So I stick by what I said.
Whatever that thing is built out of.
I stick by what I said previously, that it's indestructible. We need to build everything out of that.
It's depleted uranium from fucking Chernobyl.
Oh my God. And that's why Putin's dying of cancer.
He visited. I did find it funny that they stirred up all the radiation from there, and they're like, "Why are we getting ARS?"
Still, though, we're 9 months in, and I said this was going to be like a 2-year knockdown drag out. We're already past what you thought it would be, so you already lose.
That's not true. I said less than a year. And are we 9 months?
Yeah, it was 9 months last week.
Bitch. No. When did it start?
Look it up. Look it up.
It was 100 days.
No.
Yes.
We're 100 days in.
Ready, people? We're gonna prove Jerry wrong.
I'm okay with being wrong, but I'm still going to be right in the end. I will also point out, though, that my sense of long duration time is not what it used to be because of COVID. It seems like the last 3 years has been really more like 10. Legitimately feels like that to me.
It's true.
I'm trying to reacclimate.
3 months, 1 week, 5 days.
I was way off.
Started the 24th of February.
Well,
so I still think it'll be less than a year, man.
As I guess we can just chalk that up to the fact that I am fully retarded. Anyway.
We knew it.
That's okay. I'm all right with being wrong. But
yeah, of course.
I still think we're gonna go over a year anyway.
I mean, for my hopes, I guess.
You hope that this goes longer than a year? You're fucking sick. But we already discovered last episode that you're a fan of genocide.
My problem is my belief. I live in what I think is a reality.
Okay.
There's no way for Ukraine to win this, right? Unless I'm totally overestimating Russia.
So far, I'm agreeing with you.
Unless they assassinate all the oligarchs and Putin, and it's like, hey, we don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. If it stays a ground battle between the two, I don't see them winning. It's just there's too many numbers there, right? You have an unlimited resource against a limited resource, so it doesn't work out well. And if this stretches out to a year, you're gonna have I think that Ukraine's putting up a valiant fight. I just 100%, I don't think it's something that can be winnable, and I just don't think it'll last that long.
I think no matter who wins, everybody's losing on this one because
absolutely,
this destabilized international relations with everybody. Like Ukraine, I haven't followed their opinions too closely, but they seem a little bit jaded now with the global population. The
NATO,
the NATO situation. Where they didn't really get support, and now they're getting backdoor support from the U.S.
They're getting support, and they've gotten support, but they weren't allowed into NATO because NATO it's like what we've learned in the past fucking 3 years, right?
Yeah.
All these big things that are there for a purpose don't actually do said purpose.
Exactly.
Because they're all fucking scared shitless.
Well, I can't say that I blame them because
that's your fucking job.
Russia's fucking crazy, and they have access to information we will never see, unless, of course, we all blow up and die. Then we'll know what they were afraid of. But I think that we're always much closer to nuclear war than we ever realize.
I think you're still so fucking wrong on this. I think we've had this conversation like the last 3 fucking GNGs. It ain't happening.
I'm just saying that I'm rooting for the zombies.
Oh, my bad. So you want Fallout? You want the ghouls?
Well, as long as we don't have legitimate zombies, I could handle post-apocalyptic world, even with kids. Now, if it's zombies, I'm dead. It is what it is.
I don't know if we've had that conversation on here yet. I think you'd be fucked post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, why though?
How would you survive? What's your plan?
Just survive.
Okay, but you don't have like, I'm going down south. I'm gonna fucking dig in. I'm gonna barricade myself and supply myself with all my food and water.
Well,
and all
first,
that shit.
I'm gonna point out that how could you possibly plan for an apocalypse that you know nothing about? So I'm not gonna say I'll go south or north because that doesn't make any sense. I have no idea where it's coming from. But in any apocalypse, unless your immediate area is not livable. You should not be moving for the initial point
Okay,
period
so
of
let's
time
say it's
right
not
after.
your area. You live on a rock.
So I'm stable.
That's called Connecticut.
Yeah, and I live on Stonehill Road where it's
You can't
all ledge.
Grow shit.
I can grow shit.
Can you? Literal
Yeah.
dog shit. It grows.
Yes, literal dog shit. But let's go over my resources. I have pretty decent soil, even though it's rocky. I have pretty temperate weather most of the year. I have a series of pets to survive off if we run out of food.
You're gonna eat your dog?
He's a big boy. He could feed us for a while.
That's fucked up.
Well, it's that or the
Eat your
kids.
neighbor's dog, not your dog, dude.
My neighbor's dog is a Chihuahua.
Yeah, well, that's a meal.
Yeah, for one person. We got all kinds of animals here, and they all walk through my yard. My yard's a deer run.
That's true.
I got plenty of food.
You guys do have plenty of protein.
And we are surrounded by farms. Surrounded.
Yeah, that's true too.
I live in Farmville.
He lives in the boonies.
I don't have a lot of issues here. I have a
You
wood
still have
stove.
winter though.
I have a shit ton of trees. I'm not going to have a problem if we have a post-apocalyptic event or world that we live in. I will, however, be incredibly pissed off that I have to cut and split wood because I fucking hate doing that.
Yeah, that does suck. I don't blame you there. Fuck that shit.
Why? What's your plan? What are you going to do if something like a nuclear apocalypse happens and you're not immediately dead?
I mean, I think we're all screwed. I have children.
Obviously.
Are you talking zombies or are you just talking like
No, I'm talking
world
real
went to
life
hell?
because we already know. We've discussed this before that if there's a zombie apocalypse, you and I are dead because we have kids.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, guys, I don't care how smart your kid is, and my kids are pretty fucking smart. They're all dumb as hell.
It's true.
It's not even their fault. They're born that way.
They're
They
also
have to-
slow.
Yeah, they have to learn how to not be dumb and slow, and they're not.
Mhm.
They're just not there yet. My kids aren't even teenagers. They would get me killed.
Yep. And a heartbeat.
100%.
We'd all be dead.
It might be better for me in a zombie apocalypse to just do it all myself. Not survival. I mean, killing them and me.
Oh yeah. Just to make it quick and painless.
Yeah, instead of getting eaten slowly and painfully.
Well, I think a lot of people would do that, man.
Yeah, but
You know?
that's not reality. We're not going to run into zombies. I'm talking about a real post-apocalypse, or whatever the apocalyptic event is, and you're not dead. You have some survival skills. I know you do.
I do. It's not that I don't. My problem is you're not prepped for it, right? I'm not a prepper.
I'm not a prepper either. And I
I'm
think
not
to a certain extent, the preppers, they're not going to fare a whole lot better than anybody else.
No.
If we're just talking averages.
I think everything goes to hell. Like, good luck.
Yeah, because most people that are preppers, people know who they are and that they're preppers. They know there's to a certain extent, they will be a target anyway.
Do you know any preppers in your life? I don't.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
And do you think they're well prepped?
Because
I can only go off the ones I
of
see on TV, and they're an idiot.
Yeah, a lot of them are not. They don't follow a normal train of thought when they're preppers. Generally speaking, from what I can see. So one of the preppers I know, most of his prep work is weapons. Which,
okay, great. We have weapons.
Yeah, so you got one thing down. Not a whole lot else. The other prepper I know, I think, is pretty well rounded. He has spent a lot of time. I'll call it practicing, living that way. He does like overlanding and stuff like that, and he's got bug out bags packed at all times, and he goes.
Can you
through
imagine
them.
living that way?
Yeah, I know, but he goes through them periodically, and because you got to make sure that everything is still in good shape and all that, because you can't just put something in a bag and check it 10 years later and expect it to be fine.
Not at all.
But I think he's pretty well rounded if he's going to be prepping for something that actually happens. However, like you said, I wouldn't want to live that way.
No.
It seems high stress.
Yeah.
My opinion on the apocalypse is fuck it. I hope it doesn't happen, but let's roll if it does.
If it happens, do you think both of them would be like, woo, I can finally came?
I think that they would be well beyond excited, like outrageously happy that that's happened.
I can finally use my warming blanket.
My space blankets, I can use them. But actually, the one with mostly weapons, I think he would just be more excited that he gets to kill people, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty sure the only thing keeping him out of jail is the fact that it's illegal to kill people.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't doubt it at all. Yeah, shit would go to hell in a hand.
But I'm pretty certain that with the amount of weapons he has, this is America. That's what we do here. With the amount of weapons he has, I could probably go to his house in that event and be like, hey, let me get a couple of things. He'd be like, sure, man, I won't even notice. Here.
On that note, I mean, the whole gun controls in the news lately. What's your thoughts on that?
And they really haven't changed since we started this show.
No,
I
they
think
haven't.
I think we do have a problem. Most of it's a mental health problem, but there's not a lot stopping people with mental health problem from getting any weapon. And you
No.
can argue that the AR-15s are the problem or not. I don't think that really matters. I think a handgun and someone who knows how to use it could be just as lethal.
Yeah, it's all the tool.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like, how many have we had in the past fucking 2 weeks? Like,
it's crazy.
6 or some shit.
It's definitely it's increasing in frequency.
It is, but it's also like several of them were somewhat related.
I'm kind of numb to it and nothing's changing, so I haven't really been watching it a lot. So I don't know, other than the one in Texas and another one that I don't even know where it was. I'm not sure what's been happening because I stopped following it mostly.
I don't. Me myself have done the same, but it's I don't know. I know several of them were. I don't think it was a Texas one, but the Buffalo one, and there was one in DC that I didn't even hear about until beforehand.
Now, I do know, there's a whole bunch of issues we could talk about, but we've talked that to death. Nothing's changing there, and I really don't think it's going to change anytime soon, because we can't agree on how to wipe our ass in this country. But one thing that
front to back
or back to front, top to bottom, so
side to side in a circular motion.
Now that one will be overruled quickly. So in the Texas situation, I was not entirely surprised, but incredibly disappointed in the police.
As far as them not doing anything?
Yeah.
I mean,
I understand that they have procedures in an active shooter situation, but I feel like they could have and should have put their big boy pants on and did what they had to do.
See, I have an issue with that. I'm not going to say, hey, they did the right thing, because they didn't. But
no,
at the same time, and people are probably going to look at me and say, but it's their job. Mm-hmm. Cops aren't trained for that, really, in a sense, right? Like, yeah, exactly. All right, you're a cop, and you're trained to do what you're supposed to do, and then you're probably having a little training on how to deal with stuff like that, and they just had it like the week before.
But they're not
God
SWAT.
knows whether they blaze that. They are not SWAT. They're not the military, right? There's not that sense of, there's not as much discipline there.
Yeah.
They're not, even if they did the training once a year, that's not enough, right? Dude, clearing rooms, you have to do that quite a bit to fucking get good at it.
Yeah. And you were in the Marines, so it's like,
it's not an
constant,
overnight thing.
It's constant training.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, I've seen guys freeze at the dumbest things, and you can't blame them for what they're freezing at. It's just like, hey, you might not want to be in this line of work anymore.
Yeah. Well, we've discussed before that I think that the whole hiring process for the police is it's hiring the wrong people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think of the situation, and I think it's kind of fucked up that my head went, well, I guess we should have a SWAT team for every town. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we should actually deal with the problem.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening. So maybe we should have a SWAT team for every town.
But why isn't it happening, right? I think too much
political polarization. That's just
money. Well, I don't even think it's that, dude. I think money is running so much shit in this fucking country, and I think something like that, where it really has to do with mental health and gun control. Because I mean, I don't know. Is there any reasons to why that guy shouldn't have been able to buy a gun? And no, Texas is wicked lax.
Again, I don't really know, because I don't know anything about the shooter. In fact, I don't even know if the shooter died on scene or if they arrested him. Do you know?
That one, they arrested him.
Okay.
But like, I've had people say, well, he shouldn't have been able to buy a gun. It's like, why? I'm not disagreeing. Like, he obviously had issues.
Right.
But what is your thoughts? Well, mental health. Most states, it is not a law that you can't buy a gun due to mental health.
And really, it's
frowned upon.
It depends on the situation, but also, even if you did make it mental health guided in terms of the ability to get a weapon, was his even documented?
Well, so on that, hold on. But on that, like, I know Rhode Island. I know for a fact when you're filling out the form to buy a firearm,
Mhm.
you sign a thing saying, "I don't have any mental health that would fucking deter me from blah blah blah." It's like, really?
Yeah,
That's what we're doing?
that's their roadblock. Are you mentally fit?
I
I
swear
sure
I
am.
won't shoot people. I swear to God.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
I'm all for gun control when it comes to like common sense shit. It's just we have to do it.
we do have to do it. And I don't really know. I don't know how far we'd have to go because we're so far out in left field on gun control and the political polarization that comes with that. I don't even know what the fix would be because every proposal is so extreme in one direction or the other that I've never read research on it in terms of like
Well, that's what I find
what would
funny.
work, but there are, like every situation we have in the United States, there are probably laws already in place that no one's following.
Well, I guarantee they are, but it's also to me it's hilarious because like, okay, this happened in Texas.
Yeah,
I'm
gun
sure
capital of
they're
America.
yeah, seriously. And I'm sure some people in Texas are calling for gun control. Doubt that's going to happen in Texas. Good luck. I
Yep.
mean, I'm pretty sure when like you wake up in the morning, when the rest of us grab our phone, our wallet, and our keys, I'm pretty sure they just grab their gun first.
Yeah,
Maybe their keys are attached to their gun. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Um,
probably.
but like places like where we live, they'll put in more laws, and it's like we didn't have an issue. Why are you
Yeah.
putting in more laws? Our laws worked.
Now, how do you feel about the concept of an assault weapon ban? Or is that what they're calling it? Now, that's
I
the
don't
one
know,
that
but
was in the 90s. And
yeah, they did that before.
that's what it was,
See,
right? An assault weapon ban.
I have a different thought process when it comes to owning weapons.
Okay.
I don't own weapons for defense. I don't own weapons for hunting, really. For me, it's it's a sport. It's a it's an art to it. It can be very calming. I enjoy going to the range and putting rounds on paper,
Yeah.
and to me, it's a sport. So I don't have a problem with assault rifles because to me they kind of bring me to a place that they're nostalgic.
Yeah,
Uh,
but if you look at the population of Marines versus citizens who've never been in the military,
yeah, but why? So
you're dramatically outnumbered in that the
agreed.
nostalgia there.
But what's the difference? What I mean,
I don't even know.
if you have
That's
a handgun,
yeah.
all right, fine. Your effective range is down, but
Yes. But
most
that's
of
all.
these,
All the active shooters are close range.
barring I think Vegas,
Yeah.
most of these are. It's not even matter. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't say all because it has happened longer distance a couple of times, but
Yeah,
generally speaking,
and
they're all close range anyway.
if you're fucking going that distance, are we going to get rid of bolt action? Are we going to get rid of all weapons? And it's like,
Mhm.
guess what? There are places that have gotten rid of weapons. They still find a way.
Yeah, they do.
It's just a tool. And so, am I saying that not doing gun control is the answer? No, you need to have some form of gun control. Like, come on, we have driver's license.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should have some form of license for owning a weapon. Just makes sense. But at the same time, like it's obviously that we have a horrible mental health problem,
Mhm.
and it's not being taken care of, and it's just getting worse, especially with the past 2 years.
Yeah, the past 2 years, I think we nosedived in that respect. We are
Oh, we
in
jumped
the
off the
worst
cliff.
mental health state in this country that
Absolutely.
anyone could probably even measure.
And you know, it's only like we had Sharon on, right? Sharon?
Mhm.
No. What was her name?
Yep. I'll double check, but the episode was the kids aren't all right.
Yeah. It's all men, and men have a history of not being able to go in and get mental health, and I don't know why. Not nowadays, anyways.
All the stigma.
You know.
Yeah.
And even then, once you're in, is it even helping? They want to just pump you full of drugs.
Mhm.
We're not dealing with the shit that's happening in our lives anymore. We're trying to escape or,
Now,
treat a symptom.
where do you think this mental health decline came from? How far back do you think we could go? I would say probably post World War II.
Before I was born.
Well, definitely
Yeah.
that. But I think is this a post World War II problem that began at sometime between late 40s and early 60s?
But I mean, I think it's beyond that. It's just nowadays it's out in the open because it's more accepted, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just back then what happened. What did you do? You know, what we have more people now, but you go to post World War II, right after World War II, if you had an issue like this, what happened?
You
The person probably just killed themselves.
yeah, they probably killed themselves instead of other people, or they killed
Mm.
their spouse and themselves. But yeah, there wasn't like I could be wrong about this, but I don't know of any large scale mass shootings or mass killings, generally speaking, before
No, I
then.
think they really started in like the 80s.
Yeah.
That's really when it really started to become a thing. And I think one of the biggest ones ever was in 22. We should look that up real quick.
Was what 2022? What? Oh, people.
1922.
Oh, 1922. Yeah, you look it up while we're chatting about it. But yeah, I mean, historically, through human history, mass killings happen, whether it's an individual person or group of people killing other people, but not to the extent that we're seeing now, where
You know,
it seems like every time we have like a lull in this sort of thing, one person does it, and then we just get a bunch of them, one after the other.
well, I was seeing something like the number that have happened. Fucking, there's a lack of consensus on how to define a mass shooting. Okay.
That's always been the case. I already knew that.
So
I'm gonna
apparently
say
it's a minimum of 5 people.
I was gonna say my consensus is at least 3, because I have the assumption that if you're killing at least 3 people and it's not motivated as targeted killings, your intent is probably more than 3. You just happen to not get there.
So most of the studies go from 1982.
Yeah.
That's when it's really started to come.
Yeah, but I really wish we had some data on before, like we'll go back to like 1880s.
Yeah,
Wonder what those numbers look like. I'm inclined to believe they're much smaller.
I guarantee they're much smaller.
For one,
But
in the 1880s, it's a lot harder to shoot a lot of people at once.
well, there's that, but it's also you had more of a sense of community, so you
Mhm.
knew the people were going after. You had less fucking just beratement
Mhm.
of everything. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, with these people, it's in their control. And I mean,
Now,
well, we've all been
speaking-
there where you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of the more community that you mentioned, this is going to take us away from guns a little bit, which I think
That's
that's fine. We are experiencing a thing in the United States right now where we're going towards multi-generational households, which in recent memory we've been kind of isolationist in terms of families. So kid gets to 18, they move out, go do their own thing. We're now in a situation where economically that's not even feasible. So you're getting into the multi-generational households that other countries have been doing for as far back as they can remember.
Mhm.
And everyone is simultaneously doing it, but also looking down on it while it's happening. And it's kind of a weird situation because this goes back to post World War II as well. Before then, multi-generational households in the U.S., like in the late 1800s, early 1900s, is pretty common.
It was all of them.
Yeah. So we have been, I don't even know what to call it, where young kids move out of their house just because financially it's possible.
Mm.
I don't even know what that's called because it's not actually normal in human history.
Leaving the nest.
Yeah, we'll call it the nest leavers. That has only been
It's
since.
so fucking like amazingly creative, Jerry.
Well, people have to understand, Grizz. I'm not going to use some fancy terminology, but they have since after World War II, when the United States economy kind of changed to the point where an 18-year-old kid can move out on their own, support themselves on almost any job. That's a short period of time where that's been possible. Before that,
it's not possible nowadays.
Before that, they really couldn't do that. So there's multi-generational households, like you see in the Asian countries and the Middle Eastern countries. That's all the same kind of thing. I think it's Western civilization where that has changed over the past 70 years. And it's been just long enough where we forgot what was before then. And now it's been embedded in our modern minds that it's not acceptable to do that.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's inevitable. We're going back to that, and I don't think there's anything we can do to change it.
I don't think that there's anything you could do to change it, except just change the stigma with it.
It's going to have
No.
to change because, well,
Probably
stigma's always
already
going to
changing.
change. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like even for our generation, because we're a little outside of that now.
Yeah. We
How many
just
people
missed
do you
getting
know who
fucked
moved
over.
back in with their fucking parents? You know?
I think so. Most of my siblings, and I have 7 of them, most of them, once they moved out for one period of time or another, sometimes multiple separate periods of time, they moved back home with my parents
Mhm.
and then went back out on their own again. I think, the only one who's never done that. I moved out when I was 17 and I've never gone back.
Mm.
But I think that's because of our age group and my ability to do that, because I have not made less than 50,000 a year since I was 17.
Mm. Yeah, but
Not
you had a
most
trade that you
people,
walked in. Most people
right,
don't have
right.
that.
But that's what I was saying. Most people can't say that. You can't,
Mm.
as someone who has made okay money for their entire adult life, I would not want to live on something like 30,000 a year. And a lot of people do it. It would suck.
Yeah. What's the poverty level right now? Is it 36? 46?
Look it up.
56? I don't know.
56. That's not poverty level. I can tell you that in America.
Dude, nowadays.
Wow. I guess it depends on your family. So I'm looking at the poverty guidelines for 48 contiguous states and the District of Columbia. So for one person, the poverty guideline for income is $12,880 a year. So
Let's see what that is.
in terms of what? Like pay?
Minimum wage and working a 40-hour week.
Yeah, do the math while I read these out to you. I got a lot of numbers here. Oh,
Give me a minute. What's the minimum wage in Connecticut?
Hang on, let me look it up. Connecticut's minimum wage is 14 an hour. So let's see what that works out to. So one person in the U.S. poverty is just under 13,000. If you're a household of 2 people, so let's say a married couple, because you'd be filing jointly for you to be considered a household of 2, 17.5. If you got 1 kid and you're a couple, poverty is just under 22,000. And my household's 4 people. For us to be considered living at or below the poverty line, it's 26,500 a year.
So
now, if I made 26,500 a year, I have no idea how I could support 2 kids and a wife.
Called cardboard box.
That doesn't even seem possible. It can't be possible.
When was the last time that was adjusted? So $14 an hour.
Yeah.
Comes to 29,120 before tax.
If I was single, not responsible for anyone else, I could make that work, but it would suck.
Yeah. For you, for one person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For one person, 29,000, you can make it work. If you have a fucking dog, you're out.
If you have the mice that live in your room.
Yeah. These numbers are crazy.
And you also have a higher fucking minimum wage, man.
What's yours in Rhode Island?
I don't think it's bumped up at all.
Well, Rhode Island's a shithole, so it's probably much smaller.
Y'all don't work. No one in Rhode Island works in Rhode Island.
Yeah, because it's a shithole. That's why you'd all rather spend at least 8 hours of your day somewhere else.
$12.25.
That's still pretty shitty. Now you imagine making $12.25.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost, to me, who's never made that in their adult life, I would not even go to work for $12.25 an hour. I wouldn't even do it.
Well, so that's wherein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Right now, there are people who have made that decision,
and I don't blame them, because the amount of effort you put in for $12.25 versus what you get out of it, it is not worth it to me. I wouldn't do it.
I don't even know what would you get on welfare. I'd be curious.
I don't even know if there's a way to find that out.
I'm sure there is.
Even if on welfare you only got rental assistance and food, that's probably going to be your money there anyway, and you wouldn't have to work for it. It leaves you open to, I don't know what most people in the poverty bracket are doing, but it would leave you open to be able to go to school and shit like that.
So I guess the monthly allotment for a family of 4 is $835.
Is that in cash or what?
I assume. But I think also on that, you can get free housing, free food. Well, you don't get free food. You get food stamps.
Yeah, you get food stamps. But a family of four gets a lot of food stamps. It doesn't go as far now because everything is skyrocketing, but
Well, that's the thing. Like, how much did your fucking food bill go up in the past 3 months?
a crazy number, hundreds of dollars in the course of a month. It's gone up that much. Yeah.
Even over a week.
So that just goes back to the fact that we are moving back to multi-generational households out of necessity, because that 50-year span of prosperity is over.
I think we're heading back into hardcore nosediving into a depression, which it was inevitable. You look at what's happened over the last 3 years. How could we not?
Yes, I agree with you.
Our reaction was crap.
Yeah.
And that I just don't see a way. The only thing that hasn't happened yet is I haven't seen any of the stockholders diving out of windows.
That's coming. Actually,
it's coming.
So I don't remember which episode I talked about this in, because it's been more than one. But I talked about what I thought the timeline was for recession, the stock market, and the housing market. Yeah, I corrected it. Stock market and housing market crashing. So the housing market, I thought we had. So this was probably in the last couple of months. I thought we had like a 2-year window before it starts to really crash. I was way off. So here's evidence I'm not an economist. It's already starting to crash. So the crash is now starting, not necessarily with a decline in home prices, but with interest rates coming up. A lot less people are buying.
They had to do.
Yeah, they had to do it. That's a whole nother issue that we can talk about in a second here. But now a number of houses being sold is coming down very, very quickly. And there are already major, we'll call them metropolitan areas, where the home prices are starting to crash. And generally that's where it happens first. So everything is starting to collapse now. I think we're going to see a slow decay for a little while, because that's what it looks like right now. And then just a complete implosion.
So, like I said, I think we're hard charging for a fucking depression, man. It's going to be fun.
We are. Yeah, I think we are too.
For all of your positive thoughts.
Now, what did you just say here about? The interest rates. So this has happened multiple times in history. Before you and I were born, middle of our lives. It's happening now. The Fed does this thing.
Ooh, I know where you're going.
The Fed does this thing, and it fucks themselves every time, and along with them, us, because when they get fucked, we get fucked.
Does it really fuck them?
Personally, no, I guess not really, but it fucks them in terms of their ability to band-aid the economy.
Explain what it is before we talk about that.
We're getting there. But what they've been doing historically over the last 100 years has taken their ability to stabilize a fragile economy completely out from under them. So what they do is create a situation of easy money, which is there are interest rates. The Fed sets interest rates nationally, and in multiple periods in recent history, they have set them effectively at zero, which gives normal people like you and me the ability to borrow money. But that doesn't really mean much, because we can't borrow crazy sums of money. What it does is it creates a situation for businesses and larger corporations to almost make money by borrowing it. That's a lot of them actually do. So they borrow money at almost 0% interest, and it gives them the ability to just buy anything and everything. Now that leads to a situation where the economy starts to collapse. And the fix for that would normally be to lower interest rates. But if you're at zero, you can't do that. So if we are, as a country, sitting at a 0% interest rate and we're starting to collapse and you can't come to zero, your only option is to go up in interest rates. What happens when you raise interest rates, Grizz?
You fall more.
You fall more. And that's because people stop buying things. They stop investing. They stop borrowing. So the Fed, they don't ever,
right now.
Yeah, they don't learn from their mistakes. This happened in the 70s. It happened in 2008 and 2009. And it's happening again now, where we have a baseline of zero with no room to correct. I have no idea why they keep doing it, because it clearly doesn't work.
Right now, I don't know a single person that I know who hasn't tightened up their budget.
Oh, yeah. Everybody I know.
Everyone is. And if you and I, this is what, our fucking third one living through?
Yeah.
You just buckle up. Here's the ride.
Yeah. And I feel bad for people who are, in a more fragile situation than we are, because they have a certain level of uncertainty that they can't fix.
Oh yeah, it's gonna, dude. We're when was the last period of relatively high stress that people lived in? You know what I mean? So you had the housing crash in '08, which lasted till what?
I'm going to say that 2008 recession lasted until
11.
we'll say 2012, because that's when things really bounced back and
Yeah.
things were really strong again.
So we'll say 12. You had a couple years, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden we had some more stress on the political fucking network.
Yeah.
You had that going for a while, then now you got COVID fucking hitting, and then, dude, it's gonna be. This is why we have so much fucking emotional or mental health problems.
This goes back to what I've said many times, Grizz, that the 90s was the perfect time in America. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, you just won't love it because of the Matrix.
That barely made the 90s. It was 99. It doesn't even count.
That's the 90s. Last I checked, Jerry.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
All right, we need to find something positive to talk about.
No, we're going to burn it down.
So on a somewhat lighter note, I was talking with my wife the other day about, so the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is over.
Ah, yes. Didn't he win?
I define winning. He was awarded 15 million. She was awarded 2.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. They each
I don't know.
won?
Huh?
I don't know how these things work. So they both kind of won-ish. Tell me more.
It's, all in all, it sounds like it was a shitty relationship.
Yeah.
But so I was talking with my wife about it, and she's like, how did this lawyer ever think, how did Amber Heard's lawyer ever think that he was going to win?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's simple. He didn't read the tide of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you watch the mob that is people,
yes,
and the way they're thinking and believing and stuff like that, and I think it changes quite frequently these days. It's not like it was where you had a 20-year span of everyone thought this way.
Yeah, it's too fast now.
It's wicked fast. And this guy heard up, famous woman, abusive relationship. I'm gonna ride the Me Too wave, and fucking we can't lose. I mean, he even said it like in the trial. It's like, dude, Me Too ended fucking 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that died off. You can't ride that wave. And actually, if anything, right now the wave is men being abused.
Yeah, so it's normalizing, accepting the stigma of male spousal abuse, where people never took it seriously and actually made jokes about it. Now,
exactly.
Now they're recognizing, oh shit, that does happen.
It's a real thing. It can
happen.
With fucking Will Smith and Johnny Depp, and I obviously that relationship just sounds like it was fucking toxic as fuck anyways, but
yeah,
I was like, that dude obviously just read it wrong, thought he had it in the bag the entire time, and he never had a chance. But it's interesting that you're starting to see that the whole men can be abused in their relationships now, and it's being accepted. But you still see some people they're so hardcore with the blinders on, right? That I guess I'm
curious to see how you're going to spin this into a positive note.
Well, I think it's a positive note that it's being recognized that.
Yes, this. I thought you were just going to dive into this rabbit hole of relationship abuse and just never come out again. Okay.
Everyone just abuse their spouse. That's what we should do. No, I think it's a positive note that it's being recognized, and it's not just being swept under the rug and be a man and take the fucking beating.
Yeah,
you should lose all your fingers and let her shit on your pillow.
Well, yeah, but now on that note, I agree that it should have the stigma removed that's associated with things like men getting abused, but there's still room for telling people to stop being a bitch, because there's a pandemic of bitch-assery going on in this country.
There is. I agree.
Where people get upset, or I don't even know what to say. People can't handle adversity. Now, I don't think people should have to handle the adversity of an abusive relationship, but generally speaking, what the fuck is going on?
You heard it. Jerry thinks you should be beaten.
The floggings will continue till morale improves.
Shit. Morale's in the tubes.
But yeah, the countrywide, this isn't just men. This is every person in this country. The ability to handle adversity has just evaporated.
Is this in your life or what you're seeing in the news media?
In my life,
What?
everywhere.
People bitches around you?
Everywhere. And I think a lot of it comes from the news media because a lot of people are maybe not indoctrinated, but certainly heavily affected by what they're consuming.
I think the news controls a lot.
They do. They control public opinion and attitude.
Mm.
But yeah, even real people in my real life.
Real people.
I'm in my 30s, so I've seen a couple of things now. A lot of people seem more open about being so easily offended by things or easily disturbed personally by some event or altercation or adversity that they run into. And it seems really weird to me that we would be regressing at the level of one end of someone's life to the other, not just generationally.
It's because we have nothing to focus on, man. There's that, you know what I mean? We have to focus on our internal bullshit going on.
Yeah.
And so right now, outrage is the thing. So that's what it just, we outrage at everything.
Yeah. And that,
I think
that comes to the news.
To a degree.
That comes from the news media too, because people see the sort of things that get attention and the attention that comes with that sort of thing happening. Human beings are they're attention whores.
Yes.
Even introverts can really be a serious attention whore. And I don't blame them. I love being the center of attention. You know that. That's why I'm here.
You mean you love being a whore?
I'm a dirty whore. Love me. Yeah, exactly. So I can't blame them in terms of the psychology of being a human, but their ability to recognize it and then face adversity in like a healthy way. It's really strange. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. It's just, it doesn't sit right with me, Grizz.
Jerry. I'm not seeing people being a bitch in my life as much.
You don't talk to anybody. And yes, you do.
I love talking to people.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to call out people that I know on the show because I don't need that bullshit in my life.
You can't give me an example? You don't have to use names.
Let's talk about...
it could be someone you don't know.
Let's talk about normalizing obesity.
Okay.
I know a lot of people that struggle with weight.
I'm a big dude.
I think it's a fair point that can be a legitimate issue in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's an excuse to normalize obesity.
What do you mean by normalize? As I die over here.
We'll say...
so you can't shame them?
Yeah, let's talk about like plus size models. I don't have a problem with people being overweight. That's your life. If you're going to live your life how you need to live it. I don't really care if you're fat. But telling people that they're wrong for not finding fat people attractive, that's an issue.
Well, that's...
it's not discrimination if I don't want to date someone who's morbidly obese or even moderately overweight.
That's... It kind of ties into a whole bunch of shit.
Right, but
I'm fine with you doing whatever you want to do.
That my point here is these people that are now getting upset with the concept of not accepting people for being massively overweight.
It's not really not accepting them. It's just not an attraction.
Right, but we're in a weird situation where people are now upset with the situation that not everyone wants to deal with that in their life. With a partner or whatever. However, it enters your life. You don't necessarily have to deal with it if you don't want to.
There was a thing like that with trans people as well for a while. There was like, if you, a hetero man, went on a date and you found out that, and you thought it was a woman, and you found out that it wasn't, and you were like, no thanks, I don't want to. And you were completely, you did it the right way. You weren't mean about it or anything like that.
Right.
They would get enraged in the fact that you did that. It's like it's because you're recognizing there's a difference.
Yeah.
And it's that you're not accepting. It's like, wait, you can be accepting and still not find that attractive.
Yeah.
Or not, you know what I mean?
Like you, Grizz, you're overweight, right? I love you, Grizz. But I wouldn't have sex with you. You're not my type.
What the fuck, man? To me,
I think it's fine.
Whatever the fuck you want. Why do you have to get in other people's bullshit?
Exactly. But like for prime example, you're overweight. I'm physically fit. Is a lifestyle choice that we both made. I would prefer to be with someone whose body type matched mine, physically fit. I don't think it makes me an asshole. I don't think it makes me an asshole for not wanting to date someone who's not physically fit. And I think it's fucked up that people get upset over that.
I think it's a preference thing, but I think that the lines of opinion are getting blurred.
Yes.
They don't even want you to have an opinion anymore.
Unless it matches theirs.
True.
But anyway, that's a real life example that I've seen with people that I know. And there's your example right there. I'm not going to name call anybody.
Yeah, I can't help you with that person then.
It's persons.
Oh my God, you're screwed.
I don't know who you're hanging out with, but I don't know. I think I'm more social than you. I don't base that on any facts. I'm just saying that right now.
I enjoy people. I'm a social butterfly.
You're a whore too.
I learned early in life, the people who make drama and bullshit like that, I don't keep in my life.
I kind of live the same way. I don't want anything to do. I actually know someone who is having two separate parties I know, who are both on friendly terms with me, are at war with each other. And it's a wild time, and I won't go and hang out with them because I don't want any part of that shit, because I know they're going to talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to make you part of it.
And I'm not going to pick sides because, for one, I don't give a fuck.
Can you believe what this motherfucker did?
I can believe it. That motherfucker. However, we're not going to talk about this. That's kind of how I operate in that situation, because I don't give a shit about their problems. Go solve your own.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes me an insensitive piece of shit, I know. But, you know,
I'm glad you admitted that.
Get used to adversity. Man up or woman up, whatever you happen to need.
Or up.
Toughen up. All right, we'll go with that. Unisex. Toughen up. Stop being a bitch.
Bitch is feminine.
I do know that we have a certain listener.
Stop being a bitch.
I know we have a certain listener who's going to say, listen to Jerry saying to stop being a bitch. He's such a bitch. Well, that's it for this week, Grizz. Now everybody knows how I feel about other human beings and their bitch ass behavior.
They know the real, true Jerry.
Yeah.
How he fucking hates everyone. What a miserable bastard.
I didn't even know. I was such an asshole. You finally got it out of me.
How do I deal with you week in, week out?
Why do people even listen to me? That's the real question.
That is the real question.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with how we feel about things this week.
I think with this episode, actually, correction, this week with this episode on Spotify, we will put up a poll. If there's anything you want us to hit in next month's G&G, hit us up, vote, let us know.
Actually, it might be for the one after that, because we're supposed to talk about my love of men in power.
That's true. We did vote. I think a lot of people missed that one, though. We'll
anyway,
put that on there as well.
We're going to put up another poll anyway for a topic for the G&G. And at some point, we're going to cover it, because these are starting to pile up where we are going to be stacking topics, because you can't talk about it all at once.
Thank you again for listening, beautiful bastards. New episodes every Monday. Remember to like and subscribe. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Are you offended? Go fuck yourself.